Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. Biden is essentially officially out, done. He has stepped down, resigned. This is the Democratic Party's definition of democracy. In a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds, you will hear President Obama or reports of President Obama turning on Biden. I have a playlist, ladies and gentlemen, and look, the playlist, all of this is nothing compared to what took place. Thank God President Trump is alive. God bless America, and God bless the family of that firefighter who lost his life that day. That's the main story, and we'll get to that also in this live stream. I will have a live stream tonight around 9:30 p.m., Nico, Henry, everyone here, thank you to my viewers in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK, Philippines, Korea, Nigeria, Nepal, everywhere around the world. God bless you. Thank you for watching. To my super chat, I can't do this without you. He is stepping down, and I have a playlist of 16 videos and live streams throughout the past 4 years saying they are not going to go with him. They are going to simply remove him from the ticket. Today he lost President Obama. That is game, set, match. This is even worse than what they did to Bernie Sanders, okay? Democrats do not have a functioning primary. They don't have really a functioning political party. It's a political machine where they make up rules and guidelines and bylaws. They make it up on a whim. It's not democracy. It's the antithesis of democracy. And of course, they've turned that into a euphemism for whatever is good for them. So whenever they said Trump is a menace to democracy, what they mean is he's an impediment or an obstacle to them controlling the future of this country. Anyway, Bernie Sanders was cheated in 2016. The DNC chairwoman forced to resign. It was completely disgraceful. Clinton, yet again, will be opposite Trump. It will not be Whitmer. It will not be Newsom. It will not be the former First Lady. The only person who could raise enough money to compete against Trump within the short time frame and get enough money for congressional candidates is Hillary Clinton or the Clintons. Hit subscribe to my super chat. Ask any question. Give me your thoughts. Let's get started, people. Trump's going to face a new nominee. I have told you this for years. I think it's going to be Hillary Clinton. Oh, and by the way, he's going to win in a landslide.
We have some breaking news here, and this is a pretty big one. And Marie Harf presaged this breaking news for us. This is according to the Washington Post. President Obama is telling allies that Joe Biden needs to step aside. Marie, I just have to come back to you for a moment, and then we'll go to you, Emily. Marie, the exact language is seriously consider his viability. You said 2 minutes ago, we're waiting to hear from Obama. Well, we're hearing from him through the pages of the Washington Post.
Yeah, I just got chills when you read that. You know, I worked for President Obama, as you know, and he has very good political instincts. He has throughout this process. He's also very cautious, though, Kayleigh. So throughout the days since the debate, he has stood by Joe Biden, but I think started to hear increasingly from people that believe there is no path for President Biden to win. And Barack Obama is still one of the elders of our party. And if he is now weighing in with Joe Biden on the heels of Schumer and Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries, it feels to me like we are very close to knowing that Joe Biden will no longer be the nominee.
I called this years back. They were never going to go with Biden. Who knows why Hillary Clinton did not replace Biden 4 years ago? She will be the nominee opposite Trump. Everything is preordained, scripted, predetermined. There is nothing is by chance. It's the equivalent of a Hollywood script. Okay, they're reading lines on a page essentially. Okay, everyone knew. Well, let's just say I knew, and it was obvious they don't have a political party. They have a machine. that runs through public relations and media. The Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, The Atlantic, Hollywood, social media algorithms, loyal intel officials, loyal government officials, and they work in concert, in unison, for a specific cause, to keep political influence and power. That's why they accuse Trump of being a Kremlin operative. You can accuse anyone of being a Kremlin operative. All you need is an assessment from one of the intel agencies. That's not evidence. It's essentially hearsay and gossip anyway. None of these people just came to the conclusion that Biden was one fry short of a Happy Meal during the debate. Nobody on the Democratic side just realized that Biden, the lights were on, but nobody's home. Nobody just realized that. They all knew that. It's just part of a predetermined, preordained, essentially a script. So now the mantle is going to be given somehow, some way to Hillary Clinton.
I don't know when that will happen. Of course, he has COVID and he'll be at home for a few days. But if Barack Obama is in fact weighing in, a very brilliant political mind who is very cautious at the same time, that feels like a sea change, Kayleigh.
Emily, the Washington Post, this is Michael Scherer. He's a serious reporter. He has good sourcing. I want to read from him directly. Former President Barack Obama has told allies in recent days that President Biden's path to victory has greatly diminished, and he thinks the president needs to seriously consider the viability of his candidacy. And here's the sourcing. Multiple people briefed on his thinking. This does not show up by accident, Emily. He has greenlighted, in my opinion, as someone who's worked in press, his aides to share this with the Washington Post.
Which is a crucial sea change, Kayleigh. And actually before, Marie, when you were talking about it, in my head, I was like, no, he doesn't need to come out and say it because he did it non-verbally.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe if you're new to this channel. When I go ahead and all the time, what I'll do is I will say this is going to happen in the title. And then sometimes people say, it hasn't happened yet. I told you, I said there will be a unanimous decision overturning the Colorado ban. Then people say, it hasn't happened yet. Then it happens. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm just saying. Then I'll say, Trump won a huge decision on immunity. It hasn't happened yet. Okay, now then we know he won an enormous decision. I've been telling you for years, Biden's resigning. Eventually, you'll see it'll be Clinton. There's a chance it could be somebody else, but honestly, I think it's going to always. I've been pretty confident it's going to be Hillary versus Trump. Trump's going to win in a landslide. God bless him. God bless America. But I've been telling you, he's gone. He's going to leave. He's going to step down. Now you're seeing it take place in real time. And I'm telling you, Trump is going to win in a landslide or at least a resounding victory. I'm telling you that his guilty verdict will be overturned. It's unconstitutional either by lower courts or by the Supreme Court. I mean, I'm not batting 1,000, but I'm batting about 460, something like that. Pretty good. I mean, okay, let's put it this way. I'd say 800 then, okay, if you want to not use a direct baseball comparison, but almost everything I've been saying the past year and a half has been pretty accurate. Okay, and again, I have not been perfect, okay? I have not been perfect at all, but I got to pat myself on the back. The only reason I'm doing that is because you watch this channel for a reason.
When he guided the president off the stage, he showed the world the president's frailty. He showed the world that Barack Obama was still the elder of the party. Although, Marie, that made me feel like I'm an ancient. But at the end of the day, we are now seeing the materialization of the apparitions. Right? Because prior to this, for example, as former Speaker Kevin McCarthy said, well, Pelosi controls everyone, right? So Schiff coming out and saying that meant Pelosi told him to do so. Well, then we have reporting that Pelosi herself is speaking face to face with Biden and saying it's time to give this a rest. So what we are seeing is those unseen hands that we knew guiding those forces, writing the letter for George Clooney, telling him to come out. All of those forces are all of a sudden now saying, I'm putting my name directly out there. That represents a fundamental current change. And I think at the end of the day, we are now.
Hey there.
Biden against the world. You know, all those T-shirts that say Oakland against everybody, you know, Detroit versus everybody. It is now
Sure.
Biden versus everybody in his party. And we will see whether what's going on with him mentally or that stubborn.
If it was Biden versus a Kleenex napkin or, you know, tissue paper, or if it was Biden versus lint, Biden would not be the winner. Okay, so this is all preordained, scripted. They already have a nominee. I repeat, they already have a nominee.
Character he's always had, whether that will overcome reason, frankly, as these members of the party, as these influential thought leaders of the Democrat Party, the established party as it is today.
JD, thank you again for the super chat. To my super chat, thank you. Thank you, JD. Greatly appreciated.
Make any kind of influence on the current president.
That word you used, Emily, is the key word to me, stubborn. And here's what I'm interested in, Guy. It's widely known that Biden bristled when he was passed over by Obama and foregone as the potential Democratic nominee, and Obama sided with Hillary Clinton. And Obama has tread carefully because he knows that if he goes out full court press, it could in fact cause Biden to be stubborn and retract into a corner. So it's interesting now this comes out publicly. It almost means maybe Biden's being defiant and Barack Obama thinks this is the only choice he's left with.
And we'll see if it works. I mean, the din of the pressure is deafening. And everyone is now lining up privately and publicly to try to push him out of the race.
This is part of a script. It's preordained, predetermined. What happened is the following. They knew that if they had a debate early, they can show the world that, you know, the lights are on, but nobody's home. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay. And so then they have enough time to force him out. He can't just simply say, okay, man, I'm out. Thanks, man. Come on now. It's been fun while it lasted, man. Hey, you want to do some push-ups, man? He can't say that. He's like, I'm staying. All right. No, he doesn't want to stay. He doesn't even have the authority to do anything. Okay. And so if he did want to stay, then they would say, okay, let's investigate your laptop. So it's all a racket. The way they do things is the way they do things. In 2016, we saw the way the DNC chairwoman resigned. They know what they're doing. It's preordained. They have a new nominee waiting. Now, I say Hillary Clinton. Could be somebody else. They have a new nominee waiting. They're going to, within the next week and a half, after, you know, he officially steps down, they'll have, hey, Washington Post, Hillary Clinton, maybe she was right. New York Times, Hillary, we need you. The Atlantic, the one person who could take Trump is somebody you're not going to believe. It's not Whitmer, it's not Newsom, it's not the First Lady. It's Hillary Clinton. And every socialist and communist and democratic socialist and edgy left-wing, you know, YouTuber and Twitch streamer, they're all going to say Hillary, 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 and they will all sell their soul yet again. The Democratic Party, that's the way it works. Otherwise, they'll lose all their friends and get kicked out of every, like, you know, internet group. They'll lose friends, family members. That's the way it's all groupthink. It has always been preordained, predetermined. It's always been scripted. None of this is, you know, by chance. And I've been telling you this for years.
And it's possible that he will finally realize that the writing is on the wall and do what they all want him to do. It is also possible that he and a small group of people surrounding him say, we had a primary, we won it overwhelmingly, I'm the incumbent, all these people can jawbone, but I feel like I can do this. And
they don't have a primary. It's a theatrical performance. There is no primary. The Democrats don't have a primary. He won his primary. They don't have a primary. Ask Bernie Sanders. I'm here to tell you there actually is no primary. What happens is the candidates pretend to vie for the nomination, and at the end of the day, it's given to Hillary, or for some bizarre reason, it wasn't 4 years ago, but it will be this year, and everything is just fine. And Vladimir, I don't want your help.
And I'm not going anywhere, because remember, Biden has to do nothing to become the nominee. He can sit in that basement and do nothing.
That's right.
And then the Democrats investigate his laptop with bribery and graft. And then, even before then, he's already done. It's all script. He's already out.
And become the nominee because of the inertia here. So if he is absolutely dug in and committed, all of this won't matter, but it very well might matter. The question there would be the timing, but I'm not foreclosing the chance that Biden comes out with a new statement saying, no, I'm the nominee, I'm not going anywhere. And if he were to do that, then what? What do
Then they investigate, then they get friends within very, nonpartisan, apolitical, completely objective, rule of law, bureau officials, intel officials say, hey, maybe those 50 intelligence officials, maybe they were lying. Maybe the Republicans had something on that laptop full of bribery and graft the New York Post reported on. And then Biden says, oh, come on, man. No, not the laptop, man. Come on, man. Oh, man. All right, man. I'm out, man.
What do they do next?
Harris, and to that end, there's reporting that the delegates are being called by Biden's team saying,
Of course they
are you
are.
still with us?
Yeah, of course they are, because President Trump told me this on Saturday.
If they wave dollar bills at the delegates, then, you know what? Hillary.
Biden controls the situation because of the delegates, because it's much the same for Trump. And so he was kind of explaining that. He said, so it has to be his decision, which is where Nancy Pelosi 10 days ago or so began the conversation. We want it to be up to him should he decide. But then everyone kept saying, but if he does, we're ready to, talk about his just amazing decades of experience and service, so on and so forth.
You're the person with the...
But then support him in his decision to leave, which was not exactly gentle, but it didn't kick him out the door. Like, you don't have to go home, but you got to leave. So now they're saying on the day, now don't lose sight of the timing. This is one of the biggest moments for Republicans and Republican leadership at the RNC convention in Milwaukee tonight with Donald Trump that we have seen in a very long time, if not the biggest. Why? There was an attempt on his life just 5 days ago. He put his fist in the air and he said, fight, fight, fight. And the fight is on. They'll close this convention after he speaks, and his message is of unity. What a political balloon to burst for the Democrats if they are not unified around the idea of Biden.
Well, President Biden's COVID diagnosis forcing him off the campaign trail. This as top Democrats ramp up the pressure campaign to convince him to bow out. Brett Baer is here. We've got a little bit of breaking news that is coming from some of our colleagues at other places. Axios reporting that top Democrats believe that the pressure is ramping up so much, Brett, that the president could actually get out of the race this weekend.
Yeah.
As soon as this weekend, I should say.
Yeah, good morning. I've had some conversations here with top Democrats, names that people will know in the hallways and kind of nooks and crannies of.
You might as well bet a friend who wins at the end of Rocky 1 or Rocky 2. Or, what happens? Does Jaws live at the end of Jaws? Like, this is it. You might as well, bet on the end of movies that you've seen for decades. See if it changes. Because that's exactly what the Democrats are. They never change their script. It's the end of the movie is always corruption, political machine, pure power party politics, Tammany Hall style maneuvering, sinister media collusion in it, not direct, but inadvertent, or they're all liberal. Everybody in media is a liberal Democrat. They do not want Trump to win. That's why you have such terrible coverage of politics in our country. That's why nobody trusts media. But they already know who the nominee is going to be. And I think it's going to be Hillary Clinton. And she'll lose again, but she'll write a book. What happened again? What happened this time? We lost again. We lost this time. What happened? And so she'll make millions, but she'll still lose.
Of this convention, who put the over-under at 5 days to give the president time to do a dismount of some kind, a speech, a big event. But this is happening. It is going down the hill. The boulder is rolling. You start with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries meeting in person. You then have Nancy Pelosi with poll numbers. You have Jeffrey Katzenberg, the campaign finance guy, saying checks are dry. There's nothing coming in. And I think that this is all adding up to the realization that President Biden will not be the nominee, and it'll happen sooner rather than later.
We know in politics, money is time, right? Money is time. And if you got the money...
Think about how that has changed. Yeah. Just in the past few days. And that image of him getting into the SUV, Peter pointed it out earlier. It's just
if they had kept... Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to show this. We talked about this all week. The AP poll about those who think you should withdraw. 70% overall among Democrats, 65%. And that's the walk up the stairs yesterday. Peter said this is not in slow motion. That's what he's led with this morning at 6 a.m. Quentin Folks, Biden principal deputy campaign manager, said he's staying in this is just a moment ago now. Okay. He said he's staying in this race. The president's in this race. We look forward to accepting the nomination.
That's nonsense. He's already out. He's already accepted to step down. It's complete nonsense. It's part of a script. They don't have... Okay. The toothpaste is out of the tube. They run through public relations. They live through media. Okay. They're not going to trash it. You're not going to sell a car and say, oh, by the way, this car breaks down every 10 miles. Oh, did we say that out loud? Oh, you know what? The car's really good. Nope, that doesn't happen. Nobody, Honda or Toyota or GM or Ford or whatever, Mercedes, they're not going to sell a car and market it as this car is life-threatening. I'm just joking. It's fine. It's a good car. Everybody's fine. They already turned on Biden. They already said when Democrats, 3 months ago, if you were to say that Biden has the lights are on but nobody's home, he's one fry short of a Happy Meal, they would say, you right-wing nut job, you should never have been born. How can you believe what is? This person has spread information that misinforms about Biden. Everyone, warning, do not listen to this person. He spreads Kremlin talking points. 2 weeks later, a second after the debate, it has to go. Everything, you know what? We're for the good of the country. Cheer up. We have to. It has to go. He has to go. They don't care. Their sensibilities revolve only around political power and influence. They don't have a value system that guides them. So the Democratic Party doesn't have a specific value system. They say, disenfranchise voters. He won his primary, and there's still, at least, this is worse than what happened with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was cheated before he could win a primary. This man won a primary, and they still wasn't good enough for the Democrats. So it's like they don't have any concept of democracy. He's already stepped down. He's already pulled out. He's already done. And now it's just a theatrical performance. And it's just so annoying. What are they going to do next? What's going to happen next? Who knows? He could possibly still hold on. It's not. This is all like a complete joke. It's a farce. It's a theatrical performance. Can't everybody see this?
Chicago. Prior to that, he said this: I think when it comes to if he's open or being receptive to any of that, with regard to the reports the president becoming receptive to the possibility of ending his campaign. And then he stops and he says, look, the president has said it several times. He's staying in the race. That was just a short time.
The president also said that he didn't engage in bribery and graft. Who believes him with that?
There we go.
Yeah, he has to say that kind of stuff. But there has been an evolution in how the president's answered the question from God has to tell me to I've got to get hit by a train to maybe if they tell me I'm losing and I will lose to if I have a medical problem.
And we have a medical problem.
Hey, God, want to do push-ups, man? Come on, God. Hey, man. Hey, cornflakes. If I took cornflakes, I could take you, God. Come on now. Hey, cornflakes. Corn pop flakes.
Problem. As I mentioned earlier, flailing campaigns don't die from COVID, but they might die with it. And it was 3 weeks ago tonight at 9:17 p.m. during the debate. I put my pen down, stopped taking notes, and I said, this is over. Not just the debate, but I really believe they were going to pull him. I've wavered a little bit now and then. And I'm sitting here thinking, wait, it's 3 weeks. But here's the next question I have, Brett. Looking at what we have now, and it's painful and it's sad.
It is sad.
I think the next question is...
Oh, honestly, God bless Joe Biden. I'm not like a frothing at the mouth, deranged, wonderful, highly educated, morally superior liberal Democrat. God bless Joe Biden. I feel bad for the man, the human being. Democrats just, took this man. They knew that there were issues, cognitive health. They knew all. They didn't care. They didn't care. And it was terrible to see them just throw him out there to the wolves because his utility. It was a Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle. His utility ran out, and so they threw him to the wolves, and that's it. He ceased to be useful. That's the way Democrats work. That's the way Republicans. Well, both political parties. The never Trump Republicans are similar, but you see, the one thing you could say about the Republicans is that Trump, they didn't want Trump, but he still won. If Democrats don't want you, you ain't going to win. Man, that's for sure. You're going to be investigated and all that stuff.
Can he be president for the next 6 months?
Well, they're going to say, I think, that he can, and he's going to give this speech, and he's going to have all these people around him. But there will be questions about national security. There will be questions about if he's not capable to be the nominee, if he's not capable by the special counsel to stand trial for those classified documents, then why is he capable to have the nuclear codes? And so that will be the next question, definitely. But I think what we're dealing with here is this evolution. And just think what may happen. There may be
Kameshwar and Kate, thank you again. Yeah, it's going to be Hillary 2024. What can I mean, the main thing, Trump survived. Thank God. And that God bless that family, that poor man who did not survive. I think everyone, the entire world should remember that firefighter who shielded his family. But the way Democrats work, it's just Tammany Hall, political machine, theatrical performances. Kameshwari Kate, I think that's the case. Rob, thank you again to my super chat. Thanks, everybody.
This small primary forum of candidates that happens before we get to Chicago, August 19th. And then Chicago, remember the last Democratic convention, 1968, open convention, protests outside.
They already have their nominee. It's predetermined.
It's going to be a wild
Today's the 18th
weeks.
of July. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a month. Hey, let me just add one other thing. Yeah. The period between the transition period from one administration to the next is when you are the most vulnerable as a country. And so they might say he's fine for the next 6 months, but I think that we all have to really realize that, one, it's an amazing story to cover, but it's also extremely serious from a national security standpoint.
It's very scary. Think about Van Jones last night says, a bullet doesn't take down former President Trump. COVID has taken down President Biden. David Axelrod saying it is time. Democrats are coalescing. All these names are very public.
Yeah, but that's nonsense. They jettisoned Biden the second that they forced him to have that debate. They had already removed Biden from contention. It was already predetermined. You don't need to read the emails, like the DNC emails. You can look and see how nefarious and sinister all these, political strategists are. This isn't. You'd have to be stupid to think that this is all, purely by chance. They had no reason to just send Biden out for 2 hours to talk and to look, like he's seen a ghost every time Trump speaks, and they panned to him. CNN did this. Everyone involved was there to make him look as terrible as possible. Then he had a BET interview last night that was terrible also. The poor man has issues. He's had issues since he got 81 million Americans. Remember that? Pretty much everything media has said the past 7 years has been false. Almost everything. Or twisted or a lie by omission.
Saying it's happening. Yeah. So I believe it's happening.
And another way of phrasing it, they've been working the refs publicly for several weeks, and in the end, they might get the play that they're trying to run within the next several days.
I agree. And I don't think they originally wanted to do it publicly. I think they wanted to handle it privately, but there was such pushback from President Biden, from Jill Biden, from Hunter Biden, that these leaks started happening. Yeah. And there's more and more of them.
You leak it to pressure them, and that's what happened. Wow.
We'll see you later tonight. The joint's going to be rocking, as they say.
The last one.
You know what it is? It's a full court press.
Okay.
Nicely done.
There we go.
Let's bring in Bottom Line co-host Sean Duffy. He's live from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Sean, it's always great to see you. I want to get straight to the latest reporting that we have out of the Washington Post that President Obama is ratcheting up the pressure on President Biden to call it quits. What are you hearing?
Well, listen, that is the talk of the RNC right now. Is Joe Biden going to stay or is he going to go? And again, I think we've seen Joe Biden. He has worked a lifetime to get to the Oval Office. I think he wants to stay, but now that you have Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer giving the green light to their Democrat members of Congress to push Joe Biden out, the chorus is growing to see Joe Biden step aside. The problem that you have is if Joe Biden leaves, the question becomes who steps in? And they're going to go to their convention and they're going to have a raucous debate on their convention floor. Is it going to be Kamala Harris? Is it going to be Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer? Who's going to get the nomination? I think it's going to be incredibly divisive and painful.
Go look at the polls of Whitmer versus Trump. Trump's up 10 in one of the polls. Go look at the polls of Newsom. Okay, go look at the former First Lady does not want to run. Just process of elimination. And the way it works is going to be, they're not going to suddenly decide and pick straws from someone's hand. Oh, I got the shortest straw. Oh, I guess it's going to be this person, a congressman from Idaho, the only Democrat in, pick a red state. No, it's going to, look, they already know. What's happening is, in this weekend, whatever, couple days, whatever. He says, hey, man, for the good of the country, man. Achoo! For the good of the country. I got the sniffles. Okay, man, I'm out. All right. This is all predetermined. The second that they sent him off to the wolves in that debate without any makeup, looking completely pale, they had determined we're going to jettison this man. And I've been saying for years, look at the playlist. They already decided they weren't going to run in 24. They had what they needed 4 years ago, along with Facebook money and a whole bunch of other things, which was completely fair and neutral, just like the DNC primary. That forced Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign. Anyway, they already know who they're going to pick. If I'm wrong about Clinton, then it's Newsom or Whitmer or whatever. They already know now. Okay, but I think it's going to be Clinton. They already know. She's going to be like, me? You want me? I was I wanted Biden the whole time. I was for Biden. Are you sure, Biden? Joe, are you sure? Joe, are you sure? Joe, do you really want to? Are you sure? Okay, fine. Give me all the power. This is what I've been waiting for. And so they already know. They already know. It's Clinton beat Trump. Trump wins. Clinton writes 5 books. Gets millions.
Painful for the party. And again, it may be better for Joe Biden just to be the horse that runs for the Democrat Party. Here's what I also think could happen, you guys. I'm gonna play into Joe Biden's mindset. There's been a lot of reports on the laptop and Hunter Biden. There could be a big donor that steps in and gives a golden parachute to the Bidens, some big cash, step aside, let's save the party.
Wow. All right, Sean, let's push ahead to tonight. Former President Trump is going to speak. We've been talking for days about the whole speech being rewritten. I think Grady just reported that Trump wrote the whole thing himself, every single word. What do you expect to hear from him?
So, we expect certain things from Donald Trump, right? He's a little more brazen and he's a little more aggressive in his language. And I think just by what we've seen as he's stepped on to the floor of the convention every night, when you have a near-death experience, I haven't had one, I think it changes your perspective on life. And, what does it mean? And how do I want to engage the people around me? The fact that he was not going to invite Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley was not coming to this convention. After that assassin's bullet, he invited Nikki Haley to come and go, you know what? If I want to unify America, I first have to unify my own party. All of his primary opponents were speaking from the convention floor. So I think you're going to see Donald Trump talk about policy, talk about a very distinct difference in the viewpoints of Democrats and Republicans. The common sense that you've been hearing for the last 3 days from this convention, you're going to hear again tonight. But I think he's not going to, he's had some very tough words for Joe Biden. I think that's probably not going to be as prominent in the speech, but a vision and hopefulness for America is what you're going to hear from Trump and what he can do to make America great once again. I think that's the theme of the night.
Yeah, definitely just a different tone that we've seen from President Trump this week, Sean. I do want to broaden out for a second, though, because this entire week feels like the Republicans have a lot of momentum.
You know what? It was divine intervention to save Trump's life. And like I said, God bless that firefighter. When I say divine intervention, I ask, well, how come God didn't save the other person, But God intervened for Trump. And God bless that firefighter who gave his life for his family. If Trump learned to play the system a little bit more to get what he wants, to play the same system the Democrats have played to try to harm him, if he is a little bit more subdued, a little bit more strategic. At first I didn't like Nikki Haley speaking, but you know what? It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Trump is smarter now. If he knows that someone upstairs helped him, he's probably using some extra wisdom from the man upstairs also. So there's a great deal of wisdom he probably gained.
Right, the speeches have been strong. I think the themes each night have really spoken to voter concerns. But let's be real, 3 months, long time until game day. It's hard to turn that excitement to get people actually to the polls. So what are some of the obstacles that you think maybe Republicans might be underestimating?
Listen, there's always surprises that come in elections, right? We see them. And I don't know what that surprise is going to be on Donald Trump. However, all the things, whether it's the media or the DOJ or the FBI, the Democrat Party, the judges, the prosecutors have thrown at Donald Trump.
The only surprise, the only thing that could derail Trump from winning is Hillary Clinton raising so much money and Democrats engaging in the typical Democratic Party tactics to the extent that they insure every blue state and get a couple of red states. And so if that happens, she becomes president. But I still think Trump's going to win in resounding fashion. But it revolves around money. Democrats revolve around money.
Nothing has worked. And so I do think those late election surprises that could be put on Donald Trump's lap are going to have very limited impact because the voters have seen everything.
To the new subs, thank you for subscribing. Thanks, everybody. Love you. Thank you.
That anyone could throw at Trump and he's still standing, which, by the way, if you're a Democrat, you're like, listen, I gotta tell you, it was a pretty great convention, really great speakers. This party that was supposed to be disunified and fractured around Donald Trump, you're here. There is unification around around Donald Trump. People I know from around this state, where I'm from, Wisconsin, we're begging to get tickets to come to this convention. They first said no. After Saturday, they're like, listen, how do I get a ticket? I want to be part of this historic moment. So, I think Donald Trump, again, you mentioned, we're not far away from voting, but we are far away from an election day in early November. I think that that Donald Trump is off to the races because, you know what? You need people to work for you on the ground. You need volunteers to get your message out into communities. And the people that are here exemplify that. But also, I think people around this country are like, I want a different vision and a different path for America. I'm going to go work for Donald Trump. And that's huge, building an army of people to get your message in votes to the polls.
You know, it's saying something when in Wisconsin in the summertime you want to get tickets to that thing because the lakes and the outdoors are wonderful. I know you know that, Sean.
You know, Brian, exactly. And it's been hot here. I'm like, a suit's not so great. Maybe some shorts and sandals would be awesome.
Exactly.
But suit's a little hot. I'm sweating.
Well,
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is, like I said, it's an act. There's nothing that's by chance. And the reason that they forced him out to the wolves, sent him to the wolves, is the debate was a precursor to a reason. It was a pretext for them to just simply jettison Biden. Watch the playlist on this channel. I've been telling you that for years.
President Biden with an extensive interview with BET trying to make his pitch to black voters. Take a listen if you can.
Why should they turn out for you? Because they know where my heart is. They know where my head is. And by the way, if you notice, whether it's young blacks or young whites or young Hispanics or young Asian Americans, they've never focused until after Labor Day. Everybody got involved in the civil rights movement. No great shakes, just sit in. You got arrested for being on the porch with a black family, and they brought you back home. I said, yeah, I remember that, Mom. Look at the heat I'm getting because I named the Secretary of Defense, a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, because of the people I've named.
Patrice Onwuka is the director of the Center for Economic Opportunity.
This man is completely delusional if he thinks that the reason people don't like the Secretary of Defense or people have criticized the Secretary of Defense is because of who he is. Nobody cares. That's the thing. Like, Democrats are in the old 90s playbook. Republicans or conservatives don't care about most of the things that the talking points that worked decade ago, 2 decades ago, they don't work now. Republicans want the best person, and conservatives want the best person. They don't care who the person is. The best, most competent person. Okay? They don't care, and people don't care about background, identity. They don't care. Only Democrats focus on this. If you're a conservative or independent or not, far left, you just want a human being who is the most capable, most intelligent, and that could be of any background or identity. But it's Democrats who feel like, oh, the Democratic Party is breaking these barriers. Like, Democrats, this man, Biden, wrote the section of the crime bill that made it that with sentencing disparities for the same substance that Hunter's accused of taking for people of color. So There were two substances. People who looked like Biden were taking one substance, and people of color were taking another substance. It's the same substance, but prepared differently. And there was a sentencing disparity that guess who wrote? It was Biden. Sentencing disparity. Trump signed prison reform legislation. Biden was responsible for sentencing disparities. Trump gave more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, made the funding permanent. Biden did not. We can go on forever.
I named Ketanji Brown. Because of the people I've named.
Patrice Onwuka is the director of the Center for Economic Opportunity at the Independent Women's Forum. Patrice, good morning to you. That is not what you call sticking the landing when it comes to that interview. And it came out on the same day as this major news broke when it comes to the former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi reportedly holding a private meeting with the president, telling him polls show he cannot win and it'll hurt the party's chances if he stays in the race. And then there's a Pelosi ally who also told Politico the speaker does not want to call on him to resign, but she will do everything in her power to make sure it happens. Your thoughts?
Good morning. Good to see you all. This is not surprising. First, on the interview, President Biden didn't stick the landing. Frankly, he didn't start off well either. He stumbled through a lot of that interview. He didn't make a pitch to black voters about what he has done or what he plans to do. And in fact, he said, I was promised to be a transitional candidate, meaning I would usher in the next generation of leadership. And he said, but the country is so divided. Well, he told us also that he was going to be a unifier in chief. And the fact that he would be leaving office with the country more divided speaks to his lack of leadership and divisiveness in office, particularly around policies, but also around his rhetoric. So, yeah, he didn't make a good pitch to black voters. And it's not surprising that Nancy Pelosi and those closest to him, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, are all now speaking with him privately that he needs to step down. Even right after the poor debate performance he had, nearly half of all black Democratic voters said it's time for him to step down. I can only imagine things have gotten worse since then.
Yeah, whatever the highest level of panic is, the left has literally surpassed that over the course of the last, I'd say, 24 to 48 hours. You mentioned a bunch of Congress people. Congressman Adam Schiff, we'll throw him in there. The latest Democrat publicly calling for the president to step aside from his reelection. That brings the total to 20. Schiff, of course, trying to become a senator out of the House of Representatives, so he has a vested interest in this as well. Meantime, listen to Van Jones on CNN last night.
Today is a terrible day. If you pull back and look at this thing, strength versus weakness, a bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together. That's what's happening. And at some point, this party has to look at the reality of that.
I don't think Republicans could craft a campaign commercial as on point for them as what Democrat left Van Jones just said. Your thoughts, Patrice?
I give Van Jones a lot of credit because he tends to be one of the few Democrats at CNN, but broadly in the pundit industry, who is willing to at least be honest. And last night, that was a really honest, sharp assessment of where Biden is. Hop over to MSNBC, and Joy Reid, host over there, is saying, well, you could compare President Biden overcoming COVID to President Trump getting shot at. I mean, that the delusion is real there. But at least Van Jones is recognizing, and I believe he probably belongs to kind of an Obama older wing of the Democratic Party, that's saying that we're reading the tea leaves, folks. We can't hide this anymore. He can't hide that his ability, not just age, but frankly his mental acuity and now physical ability to be able to run for 4 more years is well in question and frankly precludes him from holding office. Yeah. So I give Van Jones some credit there.
Man, the bad news when it comes to Biden, is so overwhelming. Just over the past 24 hours, he says he's got COVID. Nancy Pelosi privately giving him the writing on the wall speech saying things aren't looking good. Publicly, you have what Adam Schiff says, the terrible BET interview. And then you have the DNC saying we're not going to nominate him until after August 1st because there's so many people within the Democratic Party who say he's not our guy. But all of that is leading to the question that if not him, then who?
Hillary! It's going to be Hillary Clinton, and every left-leaning pundit will fall in line. They're all like AI robots. And this will validate my political philosophy since 2016, which is that basically there is no Democratic Party. Well, there is no left in this country. The left only gravitates towards power, political power. Their alleged value system is malleable. They'll change their tune. Medicare for all, single payer. No one talks about that anymore. Yet all of these pundits raised millions of dollars from pumping that dream that is not feasible. But, left-leaning voters are very impressionable and easily manipulated. The left is easily manipulated because they think that to be manipulated is just part of politics. But, it's not, actually. You shouldn't be manipulated and lied to by your political party all the time. You should vote for somebody like Trump, who, with the Doha Agreement, brought Americans home from a never-ending counterinsurgency conflict that Biden, Kerry, Clinton, Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld sent them to forever. You should vote for Trump, who we had record low poverty, record highs in household median income, low inflation, low interest rates, real wages up, real wages down under Biden, and chaos and mayhem throughout the world, peace deals with Trump. We didn't have never-ending wars with Trump. And first president, like I said, to give historically black colleges and universities more funding than ever and made the funding permanent to HBCUs, unlike Obama and Trump, and Biden, who didn't do that. President Obama destroyed Libya with a failed intervention. Trump did not destroy a country. Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, we know what they did. And Trump doesn't worship intel agencies the way Democrats worship media, intel, any appeal to authority. Trump is his own man. The Democratic candidate is, again, basically programmed artificial intelligence robots like the constituents of the Democratic Party. They just, oh, how dare you say that Biden is one fry short of a Happy Meal, that the lights are on but nobody's home. Then 2 weeks later, 1 day later, no, we need a new nominee. Biden can't do it. Look at him. Cognitive issues. Well, every conservative person on the planet was saying that. And then, of course, but see, they don't look at reality. Their reality is pure political power. That's it. Whatever it takes.
And a lot of polls show that Kamala Harris is less popular than President Biden. So what happens?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard just to skip over her because, they're black voters and the Democrat Party tends to think along the lines only of race and gender and those different check the box classes first. So it would be very difficult to remove her from the ticket entirely.
CMW, thank you. Thank you, CMW. Thank you so much. So what they can do is Hillary Clinton can have Kamala Harris as VP. Kamala Harris can decide, just like Biden, to, of course, step down and, it could be Hillary and somebody else because Harris polls lower than Biden. So Biden will remain president until January 20th. Harris will remain vice president until January 2025. January 20th, 2025. They remain, but they resign and step down and leave 2024 contention. So they're resigning from the future. Then the nominee could be Hillary and Newsom, Hillary and Whitmer, Hillary and whatever. Anyone. Okay? Shapiro, anyone. Okay? But it's not going. What's going to happen is that the Washington Post, New York Times, the Atlantic, articles will be written. Maybe we need Hillary, and then everyone from the far left to the most neoliberal or liberal, they'll all say Hillary Clinton, and then it'll be Hillary Trump. Trump will win again.
And frankly, to not have her at the top of the ticket. That said, you still have the Gretchen Whitmers in the running. You still have the Gavin Newsom's in the running. Pete Buttigieg, who actually is a part of the administration. So I think you're going to start to see, as those folks step out a little bit more and are more vocal, that it becomes increasingly clear that the party is not unified behind the vice president of the United States. And frankly, that speaks to her inability to get much done during her tenure as vice president. She should have been the heir apparent. She should have been the transition that Biden transitioned to. So that speaks to their questioning of her.
Patrice Onwuka, thank you so much.
Patrice. Have a great
insight.
day.
I'm Steve.
Ladies and gentlemen, watch the playlist on this channel if you're new, or if you're bored. Watch the playlist, like 16 videos on Biden resigning. He's not, and Hillary Clinton eventually taking over. All that Hillary needs, because her quest for political power is legendary, and all she needs to become president is actually not that much, to tell you the truth. She just needs a lot of money, which they can raise. She needs to win every blue state and then flip a red state. It's possible. I give her a 5-10% chance. Trump will win 90%. I think Trump's going to win in resounding fashion, and then Hillary Clinton will write what happened this time. It was the Kremlin. It was Martians. Martians came through, Stanford Analytica. And the algorithms, and then people, and the switch, and the bots, and the Twitters, and and Trump, is he? Oh, and the dossier, there's a new dossier, and oh my God, is it real? Who knows? And then there'll be some kind of phony, fake, fabricated scandal to try to ruin Trump, but it won't work this time. But Clinton will make millions with new books and movies, and I Tried Again. What happened, you keep trying. And actually, she'll be viewed as heroic. You know what? She tried to save this party from Biden, and it was a complete meltdown. It wasn't her fault. And so she has nothing to lose and everything to gain. But this was always preordained. They were never, ever, ever in a million years going to go with Biden. Nothing the Democrats do isn't scripted at least 6, 7, 8 months ahead of time. We know that from the DNC primary, where the chairwoman resigned just because emails came out that showed how sinister they are. Hit subscribe to this channel. Be here tonight at around 9:30 p.m. Pacific. God bless America. God bless you. God bless Trump. Resounding victory November 5th, people. Resounding victory. What have I been telling you? The only reason I pat myself on the back is because you're watching my channel for analysis. Did I not tell you? This would happen for years? And then now also watch for the Supreme Court reversing the verdict, guilty verdict. Okay? This will be a nonstop stream of endless political defeats for Democrats. And I think that what Democrats have done is what Bush did with the Republican Party in 07. Okay? 06, 07, 08, Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld annihilated the Republican Party. Trump rebuilt it. And you still have like people trying to, the never Trumpers, they're like an extinct, archaic creatures. But I think that this Democratic Party, we're seeing the last days of the past 10, 15, about 14, 15 years. No, about 16 years of this current Democratic Party. It's going to be a different Democratic Party for